Hello, my honeys. My name is Healthy Emmie, or Emmy. If you are new here, I am a bride-to-be, and today we are cozying up so I can give you the total dish on everything that happened on my bachelorette trip. This is how I'm looking at this video. You are my honey. You're a healthy honey. You were invited to my bachelorette, but you weren't able to make it. So we're sitting down, having some tea, and I'm giving you the dish on everything that happened. And if you've had a bachelorette party or if you're planning one, I would love to hear about yours. So leave a comment and let me know something about yours. And if you haven't had one, then let me know what your favorite part of what we did and what you would have done, but you weren't able to make it, is from this video. I met my fiance in 2019 and we started dating in 2019. We got engaged in 2024 and we are getting married in 2026. We're getting married in the spring in New England in 2026 where it is quite chilly. So my bachelorette I decided to do in the fall of 2025. I knew that I didn't want to do a destination bachelorette, to be honest. I am not a center of attention type of person, so even doing a bachelorette at all was something that I was like going back and forth about. I didn't want people to have to, spend all of this money, and I wouldn't want to do a destination bachelorette anyway. I like being home. I really don't like traveling all that much. But what I do love is the fall, and what I also love is New England in the fall. So I decided that I wanted to do a cozy Gilmore Girls, relaxing, rejuvenating, recharging weekend in New England in the fall, apple picking, fireplace, just a very much wholesome weekend that would have my best friends leaving feeling like their cup was full, and they had released a lot of oxytocin, which is the hormone that we release when we bond with other women. That was what I wanted. So that's exactly what we did. And I planned the entire thing, type AAA personality. I had an entire itinerary, which I guess I'll pull up, and we'll see if there's anything on the itinerary that's important to discuss before I dive into all the videos that I took while we were there. So this is the itinerary that I gave to everybody. I wanted everyone to know exactly what was going on so that they could feel, maybe this is just a me thing, but when I have an itinerary going into a trip, I feel this sense of calmness and like, okay, I know what we're gonna do. I don't like I'm a big control freak. And so when we're on trips and I don't know what's going on, I feel very anxious. So I wanted everybody to know exactly what was happening. And also I put a note on here and I just wrote, I want this to be totally relaxed. There is no pressure. There is no forced fun. If there's anything you don't want to do, you don't have to do it. You can just hang out at the Airbnb. I also wanted to give everybody an outline for what attire to wear and what to bring. So for attire, for most of the weekend, we were just hanging out in comfy, cozy clothing. But when I asked all of these girls to be a part of my special day in my wedding, I sent them blue sweatshirts that had the word crew on them. I made these because they're my blue crew. So I asked them to bring these sweatshirts with them so that everybody could wear them that weekend. So I had them make sure that they were bringing their sweatshirts. And then basically other than that, it was just cozy, comfy attire. And then on Saturday night, we did dress up as Kardashians, members of you got to choose who you wanted to dress up as. And I made like a script and I made a video and everything. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but they had to bring their Kardashian outfits. And then also for food and drink, I told them, you can of course bring whatever you want. I will provide pretty much everything. I had tons of healthy snacks. I brought dinner, I brought breakfast. But I said as well, I'm the queen of bringing my own food places. I will not be offended if you bring your own food. I understand everybody has different dietary preferences and I really tried to accommodate to that. But I just wanted everyone to feel totally comfortable and just feeling good the whole weekend. So I also had an itinerary of all the different games that we were going to play. So I gave those as well, just so everyone would be prepared for all the fun we were going to be having. So now let's get into how everything actually went. So we rented a house in the Berkshires in Massachusetts. The Berkshires are out in Western Massachusetts right before you hit the New York border. I had never spent time in the Berkshires, but I knew that it is like quintessential fall New England. So we rented a house in Monterey on Lake Garfield. It was an Airbnb and it was absolutely gorgeous. Not to mention the drive out there. I drove out there on a Friday afternoon. I left my apartment at like 11:30 a.m. and it's about a 2.5 hour drive from Boston to the Berkshires. And it was the most like, I'm gonna lock up that memory forever driving out to the Berkshires because it's the most beautiful drive in the world. You literally just get on the pike and you get on the Mass Pike and that's it. Like that's how you get there. The foliage was unbelievable and I was listening to music, listening to my audiobook on a gorgeous blue skies fall foliage Friday afternoon. So it was off to a good start. Then here's a little tour of the Airbnb. I actually didn't end up showing you everything, but it was brand spanking new, absolutely beautiful. And there was so much light that poured in. There was also a sauna and a hot tub, plenty of beds for everybody, plenty of showers, absolutely gorgeous. We had a porch, we had a screened in porch. There was a game room downstairs. It was just beyond beautiful. I really wanted the house to be comfortable and beautiful and gorgeous because we were going to be spending a lot of time there and I wanted to just be picturesque. So it was a little bit more pricey than another option that I had booked, like a backup option, but we ended up going with this just because I wanted something beautiful. Then I packed for all the girls upon their arrival. I packed little wellness goodie bags. Unfortunately, I had ordered these beautiful blue bags that got lost in the mail. The package was never delivered, which I'm kind of at odds with USPS about right now because they said it was delivered, but it wasn't. I even had my apartment check the security cameras and check with the mailman, like the package never came. So last minute I had to get these bags and it's actually perfect because these bags match our tablecloths for the wedding. We're doing like a blue theme for the wedding. But I wanted to pack them little wellness goodie bags with electrolytes and greens gummies and bars because these girls were traveling, they were flying, and I wanted to make sure that they were well stocked on all of my favorite wellness goodies. So I had a bunch of stuff in there. I had the Peak electrolytes that I absolutely love. I'll link those below. I had the Peak teas that I love. I will link those below. I added in Wellbeing bars, just a lot of good stuff in there. And of course, I set these out on the counter before everybody came. I made this sign at Staples that said Kiki's Bachelorette. My friends, since we were youngins, have called me Kiki. It's a long story. My name is Emily. My name is Emmie, but they've called me Kiki forever. And you know, it's funny because you guys are probably like this with your pets. Like the nicknames just evolve so far away from what your actual name is, but they've called me Kiki, so it was Kiki's Bachelorette. And then I just set out a bunch of healthy snacks. So I had Solely fruit, I had That's It bars, I had Plant Strong granola, 3 Wishes cereal, oatmeal, peanut butter, tons of fruit, soups, stews. It was healthy food galore. I also brought my Ninja Creamies with me because we know how I feel about my Ninja Creamy. My Ninja Creamy was the honorary extra bachelorette party member. I really wanted the energy of the trip to be calm, serene. When people walked in, I wanted them to get a certain feeling. And so I always put ambiance on the TV, fall ambiance, like summer ambiance, whatever. Every night if my fiance is not home, he usually gets home pretty late, so I will be home alone for a few hours before he gets home. And I put ambiance on the TV while I read. So I will put on cozy fall ambiance jazz, always has to be jazz. And I put this on the TV, and when the girls walked in, they were like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm walking into a spa. And that was the energy that I wanted for the weekend. I didn't add as well, like, a big part of why this wasn't a crazy bachelorette is because I don't drink. I've never been a drinker. That was a decision I made when I was really young, just seeing how destructive alcohol is and how much of a thief it is. I saw that and I was like, yeah, that's not for me. I'm not gonna do that. And so I've never been a drinker. So I told the girls, I was like, BYOB, you guys can bring wine, you can, I am always okay with that. I am like the least judgmental, to each their own. I am a to each their own person. I'm the least judgmental person. I really think I am. And it was so funny because none of them brought any alcohol at all, I was like, you guys, you could have wine and stuff, but I think everybody just wanted to have like a recharging spa sort of weekend and like feel really good. And we're 30 now. So you can't do what you could do. I was gonna say when you were 20, when you were 21, you feel different now. And so anyway, so then everyone arrived. As far as who I invited the people that are closest to me. So I have friends from childhood, my sister-in-law, the woman that my brother married, I'm very close to. And so she came, and some friends from college. But each girl is so special to me in such a unique, personal way. And I really wanted them to know how much it meant to me to have all of them here. So the first thing that we did when everyone arrived, I had like a bunch of snacks out, we had the fire out, but I wanted to present a PowerPoint. So I made a PowerPoint because also I wanted to make sure that everyone knew one another. That's what's so funny about bachelorettes is there are people from different parts of your life. And so to you, like, you know everybody so well and you're like, this is the best group of people ever, but they might not all know each other, except for with this group, pretty much everyone knew everybody. But I still wanted to make sure that there were no, like, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew everybody, but also I wanted them to know how important they all are to me. So I made a PowerPoint, and what I did was I gave each of them a superlative, like a funny superlative, most likely to whatever. And then I just kind of went over, of course, how we know each other. But then I told them why I chose for them to be a member of my Blue Crew and why they are so special and important to me. And there were some tears shed. That was an emotional one, but it was a really good way to start off the weekend. I just love them so much, and I love an opportunity. Words of affirmation is one of my love languages, so I love an opportunity to show love through words of affirmation. So the rest of the night, I made food for that night. So I made chili, and I also had a bunch of other stuff out. Like I had veggies out and grains and some protein. So there was plenty of healthy snacks and fun stuff, and I had like cookies, and we just chilled around the fire. And did we play any other games that night? I think I wanted to save, the other thing that I showed you from the last vlog is I printed out all these different conversation starters because I love good conversation. Like, I am such a sucker for good conversation. My favorite thing in the world is to be sitting around the fire, cozied up, like having a good conversation. That is my ideal moment with friends. So I had all of these conversation starters, from like surface level icebreakers, silly, like if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life. Then I had a level 2 and a level 3, and things just got deeper, like what's a lesson you've learned recently? And so we did those. We had really good conversation around the fire. Now, the next morning, a few of us went into the sauna. So they had a sauna, and my love language is saunas. Sitting in the sauna, sweating to death first thing in the morning is the best thing in the world. So we sat in there, and then we showered and we went apple picking. And I set out breakfast and all that good stuff. I showed you some of the stuff I had, like oatmeal, and my sister-in-law made bagels, and we had peanut butter, and there was tons of fruit. So there was something for everybody. So then we went apple picking. We went to Windy Hill Farm in Great Barrington. Let me tell you something. In the Boston area, apple picking is like $30 minimum. Okay, where we went, it was optional to even like buy a bag of apples. You could just walk around the orchard if you wanted to. It was $7 for a huge bag of apples. Are we kidding? I love apple picking. I discovered a new favorite flavor, favorite variety of apple. It's not my top favorite. Like Envy will always be my top favorite, but Snapdragon, I must have eaten 3 of them in the orchard. I love Snapdragons, and they also had Pink Lady. The Pink Lady were a little bit tart, but the Snapdragon were so good. So we walked around and we did some apple picking. And then we went to Great Barrington. I wanted to explore Great Barrington. This is the most well-known town in the Berkshires. It's so charming. It's just this quaint little historic storybook sort of little downtown area with little shops and cafes and eateries and bookstores. So before we explored town, we went to the Great Burlington Co-op, which is an amazing place. I highly recommend. If you're going to Great Barrington, get lunch at the Co-op. They have made to order sandwiches, they have smoothies, they have a hot bar, they have so many incredible products, incredible produce. I 11 out of 10 recommend it. Everybody loved their lunch and loved their sandwich, and they have plenty of options no matter what your dietary preferences are. So that was a really great choice. And it was such a beautiful day. It was actually like hot in October, so we sat outside while everyone had their lunch. Then we just explored the town. We went around to all the little shops, and I am the type of person that can bop around shops and smell candles literally all day. And so that's what we did. That is girlhood. That's something that I can speak for myself, at least, when I say that's not something I can do with my fiance. That's something that you do with girls. And maybe some of you, like, God bless you guys who have fiancés who are willing to do that. Mine is like, I gotta get back for the game. So that's what I love about girlhood. So we just bopped around the different shops. And then we came back and I wanted to schedule in a little bit of time to just relax and decompress and enjoy the Airbnb, because there was a hot tub, there was a sauna, we were on a lake. I wanted people to be able to go down and sit on the dock or go for a walk. So we came back home and everybody kind of did their own little relaxing thing. So like, I went in the sauna, my friends, some of them went in the hot tub, a few of them went down to the lake and sat on the dock and got some sun. Some people just chilled out and read. So we all just kind of like relaxed for a minute. And then that night was what I was so looking forward to. I would have done this the first night, but one of my friends couldn't come until Saturday morning, so we had to delay it. But we had a Kardashian night. So I had everybody sign up for, and by the way, if you don't like the Kardashians, like that's totally fine. We can agree to disagree on that one. Seriously, like when I was little, Kendall Jenner and I could have passed for twins. Like, let me show you. And I watched that show like all through high school, all through college, like that show and me. So yeah, Kim K like is my number one. If I could have dinner with anybody, I'd have dinner with Kim K. And again, if you want to judge me, that's cool. That's fine. We each have our own hobbies. But I had everybody sign up to be a member of the Kar Jenner clan. So you could choose anybody. And I obviously was Kim K. But we had everyone. We had like Travis Barker, we had Scott Disick, we had Tristan Thompson, Khloe, Courtney, Kylie, Chris, obviously. And I just wrote out a little script and I filmed an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians and I edited it and it was like the funniest thing ever. So that was so fun and so funny. And that's one of those things where it's like, when it's your friends, it is 10,000 times funnier. The characters and the accents that people were using, like, my friend Erin, who was Chris, had on her like Kris Jenner accent. I had on my like vocal fry accent. It was iconic. And yeah, that was really fun. And then we played some more games. My fiance wanted to play the game where it's like, who knows the bride better, the friends or the fiance? And so I like videotaped his responses, like silly questions like, what's my favorite day of the week? And like, what do I do on a night alone? What's my favorite movie? That kind of stuff. If I could only eat one food for the rest of my life, what would it be? Everybody got that one right. A couple other games that we played. One was Who's Mans. So I took photos of all of the men from the group, like everybody's husbands, fiancés, whatever. And I would isolate like their ear or their elbow or their knee or their chin or their eyebrows. And we had to see if we knew who it was. So that was so funny. And then we did guess the Facebook status. So I went through the archives of Facebook statuses from like 2009. And we had to guess who said it, and that was also hilarious. And then Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, so I wanted to have Thanksgiving dinner. So for dinner that night, everybody signed up for a different Thanksgiving dinner, and like we did legit Thanksgiving dinner. Like there was the mashed potatoes, the cranberry sauce, the stuffing, the veggies, the Brussels sprouts, the bread. We did it all, and that was awesome. And that was a wrap on my weekend. If you guys have had a bachelorette party, I would love to hear what you did for yours, or if you're planning one, or if you didn't do one. Like, tell me anything, or what your favorite part of this bachelorette would have been. So thank you guys for watching. I love you, and I'll see you in my next video.